Hello everyone, welcome to my channel and welcome back. I'm Bella. I'm so happy you're here. Let's go ahead and get into it. So I am finally ready to share my birth vlog slash birth story time with you. My son is 1 year old, and so I'm just like, okay, we're about to have our third, so I need to go ahead and put this video together just so I can share it with all of you, and I'm excited to. And before we do, I did create a vlog story of the birth of my first child, and I gave birth to him naturally, and it actually was a beautiful water birth, and it was quite emotional for me. So I'm going to link it in the cards as well as put the link down in the description box. So please feel free to check that out after this one. So by this time in my pregnancy, when I went into labor, I was 39 and a half weeks. So mama was ready. Mama was tired. My back was hurting. Although, I had a very, very healthy pregnancy, as my first one was. I was ready to go ahead and give birth. Like, okay, we're ready for you to come, little boy. Mama's very big. I was tired. All my moms out there, you understand. You're just like, at one point in your pregnancy, you're just like, okay, when is this baby going to get here? My husband knew that I was ready to have the baby. He was ready to meet his second son. And so that was that. So I was just like, okay, you know what? I know some ways to possibly help labor begin. So I'm going to do that. So in the morning time, I went ahead and went outside and did some curb walks. Hey everybody, just to get you up to speed, today I am 39 weeks and 2 days. I had my first son at 38 weeks and 3 days, so I'm just like, when you coming, baby? When you coming? But this morning I did wake up with a bloody show, and so I told my husband, yay, this is the first sign, yay, we're gonna have a baby soon. So that got me really excited. So I wanted to go out for a walk. I did some curb walking just to try to get the baby to move down more so into my pelvic area to prepare my body for the birth. So I'm super excited about this. I've been waiting for me to lose my mucus plug and everything. So yeah, we are having a baby soon. And boy, did they work. When I tell you I went into labor, I began labor right after I got done with the curb walks. I meant that, okay? My lower back pain began to increase, and eventually I lost my mucus plug. I literally went to the restroom, y'all, and I checked and I saw it. I was like, yes, I'm in labor. We're about to have our baby. So I told my husband, and I called my mom because she's about 5 hours or so away, and I wanted her to be there to help, as well as just in case if I gave birth during a time in which the hospital wasn't allowing children to be there, she could be there with our son, and then my husband could be with me in labor. That was the plan, at least. Because the hospital had a policy where there are no children allowed between 8 p.m. and I think it was like 6 a.m. or something like that. So I needed mama there because I'm just like, I'm not trying to have this baby without my husband, and I need him to advocate for me in the event that I can't advocate for myself, because that is very, very, very important, especially with the fact that Black women's mortality rates are higher when it comes to giving birth, and many times Black mothers, they're pushed to get epidurals or even getting C-sections even when it wasn't necessary. And again, for me, I gave birth to my first son natural, so that was 100% my plan. So that was that. So I went to labor. So I'm going to go ahead and show you a few clips from while I was in labor.
Hi everybody. So it is almost 8 o'clock p.m. and I am in early-ish labor, but I have been laboring almost all day since around noon. That's when I noticed contraction like symptoms, and then they increased and intensified over time. So that definitely, of course, told me that I'm in labor. They haven't been regular, so that's why I'm still at home. We are relaxing, minimal noise, and yeah, they've intensified over the day. I'm looking at my tracker right now, and right now it looks like they're starting to turn into at least a minute long. So that's giving me an indication that this labor is progressing. So I did have plans to do the miles circuit, but I may not need to, but we'll see. But I wanted to stop in and give you an update. But I am in labor for sure. So stay tuned.
You'll be on the way. Yep. What's up, y'all? As y'all know, she's going into labor. Probably about 1 minute each, but irregular. So that tells me that the labor is progressing. Kyra right here with us. Right now we just, we're just vibing, just chilling, just in each other's space. Baby down on the other end of the couch. Got her some space, but a little bit quiet, just the time is gone. All right, y'all.
One thing that I want to also add is the labor for my first son was quick. And they told me when your first labor is quick, that means your other labor and deliveries are going to be quick. And they were not joking with me. So my labor progressed very, very quickly, and it honestly caught me off guard. So admittingly, my husband was taking us to the hospital on my word when I felt like I was ready to go, because when you're giving birth, naturally, they encourage you to labor at home and then come in when you're at about, 6,111 or something like that. And I waited too long, and the hospital was an hour away.
You are really gone, for real.
Nonetheless, my husband got the lasting things we needed to get, packed up our son in the middle of the night, because by that time it was like 10:30 or something, 11 p.m. And we finally were on our way to the hospital. So I'm laboring in the car. And when you are laboring in the car, you can feel every bump, every turn, every pebble that you roll over, you feel that. And it does not feel good. My husband's trying to get there as safely and efficiently as humanly possible. He had to run a couple lights, go around a couple of people because they were driving way too slow. And I was expressing to him how we needed to get there because guess what, y'all? The baby was coming out. So I was wearing some shorts. I pulled down my shorts and my panties, and I was sitting on the towel just in case I had to give birth to our son in the car. My baby's head wasn't going to run into any shorts or panties. When I felt down there, because, we're having a baby, so we need to make sure what's going on down there, okay? When I placed my hands in that region to see what's going on, because by this time my water hadn't broken yet, and I felt my son's head, y'all. The baby was crowning. The baby was turtling, y'all. When you got to go to the bathroom and you need to get there in time before you having skirts up in there.
My poop is coming!
The baby was skirting, okay?
We are about 20 minutes away now, and labor is quickly intensifying. Right now I can feel my water is about to break. It's actually outside, like sitting outside of me right now, inside of my panties. It just hasn't ruptured. So this is definitely an experience I didn't have with my first, but
Baby will be here soon. But I was talking to my baby. I said, little boy, I need you to wait until we get to this hospital because I really don't want to have you up in this car. And I'm laboring and he's ready to come out. And trust me, I'm ready for him to come out too. But we can't do this in the car. Again, my husband's driving. He's speeding. Thank God there were no police. Like, that was to the glory of the Lord that we did not get pulled over because we don't have time for that. So, nonetheless, by this time, I already called the hospital to let them know we were on the way because the baby is almost here. And we pull up to the entrance of the hospital. A nurse comes out with a wheelchair. Before she asks anything, says hello, she opens the door and says, "Did you have the baby in the car?" I'm like, "No, but let's come on before I do. Let's not try to do the triage in the car. Let's get up in this hospital, okay, nurse? Thank you." So I pull up my shorts. They roll me in. What the intended process was supposed to be is I get into like the first, room where they examine me. They have the doctor come in, see how much I've dilated and all of this. And then they were going to take me to the labor room. We didn't make it, y'all. We didn't make it. The thing is, again, my first son, my oldest son, he's not allowed in the hospital. So my husband was literally going back and forth between getting him and checking on me. Like, oh my God, 'cause my mom had not made it quite yet. So I'm on the table, I'm in labor, the nurse is to my right, asked me a couple of questions, and I'm like, my baby is coming soon. And during this time, we're waiting for the doctor to come examine me. I'm just like, look, nurse, we can all see that this baby is about to come out. So I don't understand why we gotta wait for this doctor to confirm what we already know. Nonetheless, we waited, and the OBGYN gets in there and he's like, "Oh, yeah, she's about to give birth." Oh, you don't say. So he ends up leaving. My midwife is not there yet. And I'm just like, look, I need to push. I tell the nurse, I need to push. And she's like, "I know, honey, that you feel like you need to push, but don't push yet. Don't push yet." Who not gonna push? Who isn't going to push, ma'am? I made it to the hospital. I made it to the objective. Ma'am, I'm pushing. Now, I didn't say this, but in my head, I'm just like, ma'am, we're here. I'm here. Y'all have all the supplies. There's 3 nurses in here right now. Look, I'm pushing. I don't care what you're talking about. I'm pushing, and you better catch my baby. That's literally the thoughts that came through my mind. But I didn't have in me to say it out of my mouth. And literally, as I'm thinking that, and I can see my husband, I give one good push, and he comes flying out.
This baby real quick. Try not to push. I know it's hard not to. Alright. Okay. There you go. Alright. Delivery. Here. Wipe him off, good.
Hey, buddy.
Oh, baby, I didn't know you were coming like that, baby. I know, you just slid on out.
Yeah.
Say hi, happy birthday. She, I went out there to the car, she had her pants down. I said, "Is it out?" I was like, "Not yet, but it's soon."
Dad, you gonna cut the cord?
Absolutely.
Alright.
Oh my gosh, he's so cute.
Are you trying to work?
Okay. Right in between the two there. Hold the
You're
wing.
good.
Yep.
I'm trying to keep
I'll
it.
pull my cheek
Yeah.
right here and see. I think
That's
she
it.
did.
Just chew on through. Alright. You got it.
Thankfully, my husband was able to see him come out, and the baby is here. I'm in slight shock because it was just so quick. He did have some fluid in his lungs because he came out in one push, but they were able to get that out, and he was perfectly fine, although they did have to monitor him and whatnot. But he was perfectly healthy little boy who was born like right after midnight. He was supposed to be born on the day before, but we had to hold off. But although it was wild and a little scary, we made it to the hospital. My mother made it. My husband was able to at least see his son come out. and I was perfectly fine, you know. They did have to give me a Pitocin because my body, for my first birth, my uterus, it was having a little bit trouble, like the blood clotting back up to stop the bleeding coming from my uterus. So they had to give me a Pitocin then. And then I told the nurse, I did explain to her like, hey, I had to get a Pitocin for my first child. I can tell that I'm still bleeding and yada, yada, yada. So she went ahead and gave me what I needed, and everything was turning out fine. And of course, we know I didn't get any sleep in the hospital, but I was just really happy that I did not have to have my baby in the car. That's my natural birth story. So I would encourage any mamas out there, if you're pregnant, if you plan to have children, please, I highly recommend to look into the option of giving birth naturally. With each baby, there's like a newfound empowerment that I get with the fact that, hey, yes, labor was painful, but I certainly got through it. Just knowing that, and just being able to feel every contraction, and just being aware of what was going on with my body and my child not being affected by the epidural was just, again, really empowering for me. And I highly recommend it because you can do it. You hear me? You can do it, mama. What helped me through is deep breaths, because you can feel the contractions coming in. When they say contractions are like waves, they really are. So you feel it intensify. You feel it, its onset, and then you feel the intensity arising, and then you also feel the intensity subsiding. And so you can essentially prepare your mind and your breath in order to get through each contraction. Again, that's not going to stop the pain. So just using the breaths, deep breathing, and just encouraging myself and saying, hey, you're about to see your son soon. You can do this. The contractions are going to end. Let's do this again. It's about the mind. If you put your mind to it, you can get you a natural birthing class and a natural birthing course to encourage you, to help you get your mind together. I tune in a lot to Mama Natural and midwife Bridget Taylor, as well as the Cajun Stork. Those were the main 3 people that I watched to prepare my mind to get through the natural birth process. And then I watched not too many, I didn't overload myself, but I did watch quite a bit of natural birth stories, which helped me. So I'm also going to link the playlist that I made for a couple of my girlfriends who gave birth within the past year to help them. So I'm going to link that down in the description box. But again, mama, you can give birth naturally. It's so beautiful. You are strong enough. Anyway, I don't want to get too long-winded, but that is my birth story. Thank you so much for tuning in. I really hope this has helped you. Please check out the description box for the links mentioned. And until next time, I'll be back next year with another birth story. I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.